Doeg Adomi, Achitofel, Yerovam ben Nevat. These people knew an enormous amount of Torah. Enormous amount of Torah. But their Torah did not have Yirat Shamayim. Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin says they have no share of the world to come. No share of the world to come. You say, okay, fine, that's them. What does that have to do with me? Orach Chaim HaKadosh in Parashat Ki Tisa says someone that learns Torah, teaches Torah without Yirat Shamayim, it's like the Torah of a min, like a Christian missionary, which it's a mitzvah to burn that Torah. A Christian missionary, like the ones from Arizona, they write a Sefer Torah, the Rambam paskins la'alacha, it's a mitzvah to burn that Sefer Torah. Mitzvah, completely forbidden from reading it, completely forbidden from using it for anything or storing it. Mitzvah to burn that Sefer Torah in Arizona. Mitzvah. The Torah of the rabbi over there that has no Yirat Shamayim, mitzvah to burn that Torah that he has. Why? Because it has no Yirat Shamayim. Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that both people and lions were scared of him. Writes in Parashat Ki Tisa, a Torah without fear of the Almighty is like the Torah of a Christian missionary. Mitzvah to burn it. Now, if a person still does not understand the light of life, the Orach Chaim, should also know that according to the Torah, if a person makes a sin, it's very different than according to our psyche, our mentality. Why? If you tell people, are you good? They'll define good usually by, they don't murder people. A cow doesn't murder people either, but we don't necessarily look at every cow and say she's a good cow. Monkeys don't necessarily murder people, but we don't say that's a good monkey. Your average kid doesn't murder people. We don't say every kid is good. We don't say it. Now, which means that not doing something bad doesn't necessarily mean that makes you good. But you see, Rabotai, if you tell a person, what's worse? Murdering somebody or teaching somebody about Christianity? Murdering somebody or telling somebody, let's go to nightclubs? What's worse? Murdering somebody or teaching about some type of heresy, that God needs you and that everybody goes to heaven? What's worse? Murdering somebody or causing other people to sin in any way, shape, or form? According to human logic, murdering somebody for sure is worse. They would all be wrong. And hence the reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Ki lo machshavotay machshavotechem. My thoughts are not like your thoughts. I don't think like you. You think that murdering the body is worse than murdering the soul. I don't. Why? Because a person that murders the body is only murdering something that's temporary to begin with. But a person that murders the soul has no share of the world to come. They're much, much worse. They're much, much worse. Hence the reason why everybody out there that has been misled to fall into the trap of these heretics, wherever they are, they have to know they literally were in the hands of the worst people on the planet, worse than Adolf Hitler, Imach Shimo v'zichro, worse than him. Why? He killed bodies. They're killing souls. And Chachamim teach us that a person that causes others to sin is worse than a murderer. He is part of Erev Rav, and he's considered a min, like a Christian missionary. And what did Orach Chaim say about the Torah of the Christian missionary? Mitzvah to burn it. And it's not just Orach Chaim, it's Psak Halacha from the Rambam. A person that understands the magnitude of what a sin is in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the magnitude of each and every single Jewish neshama in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, knows how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu does in order to clean every neshama of the sin. And if you are the one that is facilitating, you are the vessel that's bringing on sins, not just on your own neshama, but on other people's neshama, there's no one in the world that Hashem hates more than you. That's how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates missionaries. That's how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates heretics that teach heresy. There's no one in the world that Hashem hates more than the missionaries. No one in the world. Adolf Hitler is loved next to them. That's how much he hates them. Why? He killed bodies. They're killing souls. Now what happens if the rabbi of the Kehillah is actually in cahoots working with missionaries? What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu think of him? Even worse than the missionaries. And this, Rabotai, is what we have. We have a situation like that in Arizona. A dear friend of ours that works tirelessly to expose these missionaries that literally other people are either scared to do or don't have the skill to do. She, Baruch Hashem, our organization, Benenu, we've been trying to work together, Baruch Hashem, for some time on this particular case and others. But she has done an extraordinary work to identify not only the missionaries, but the fuel behind it. The fuel behind it. And dear Shannon Newson, she has done extraordinary work to identify these two missionaries that look more religious than any of us. And that's, by the way, a common denominator among missionaries, where they do everything possible to look the most Jewish you possibly can. They don't even know Aleph Bet many times, but they'll look more Jewish and religious than your average Jew. Hasidic garb and the hats and the whole nine, to make up for the inner lackings. But nonetheless, they're still praying to their Yoshke. They're still idol worshipping, idolizing, and still trying to find whatever victims they can. Now here, Rabotai, you see pictures, and when I showed these pictures to some people before I told them who and what, I told them, look at this picture, show me, who is the missionary? Almost nobody would pick the right person. Almost nobody would pick the right person. For sure they wouldn't pick two. Why? Because the missionaries are not only looking like rabbis, but they're acting like rabbis, and they're sitting next to the wicked rabbi named Michael Aminov. Shem Reshaim Yirkav. Why is Michael Aminov such a wicked person? He probably has his own reasoning, which has to do with dollars, but let's see what this person has done. He has these people over here giving a shiur Torah, not just attending. He has these people over here doing a chuppah v'kiddushin, meaning that the marriage that they conducted or they acted as witnesses on, that marriage is not valid. That couple that got married, and there's been many couples in Arizona that got married under their auspices, their control, either them as witnesses or as the rabbis, doing the chuppah and kiddushin, because they're missionaries and because they're not even Jewish bechlal, they're Lutherans. They're the furthest thing away from Christianity. Like you're closer to being a Jew if you're like somebody from like India that eats people than these people. And the reality is, they're doing chuppah and kiddushim. That couple is not married according to halacha. Every single time they're together, it's a sin. Every single time. Why? Because this Rasha over here. And you're going to say, wait, how does he know about it? He knows about it. We have letters. He wrote to the Rabbanut. We have letters from him, writing to big rabbis. Listen, they've been part of my Kehillah for so long. Do they really still need to do a conversion? Because, they don't really want to. Just like they denied the offer to convert in Wisconsin when Rabbi Twersky offered them to convert. They said no. Why? Because they know that in order to convert, they have to deny Jesus. So they don't want to convert. So he knows about this. He sent letters years ago to rabbis, to big rabbis. Should they convert? Meaning he knows he has Christians in his kehillah and he lets them do chuppah, he lets them do kiddushin. He lets them wash the dead bodies. No more, there's no greater disrespect to a Jew than doing such a thing. Washing the dead bodies, doing chuppah and kiddushin. Even gave them shchita to slaughter the animals. All the animals are taref. Everybody in the community that's been eating their meat is eating taref, 100% like pig. No different. Pig, non-kosher cow, same thing. People think, no, but pig is worse. It's not worse. It's the same exact thing. A Jew that is a kosher Jew slaughters an animal, it's kosher. A Jew that's mechalel Shabbat slaughters an animal, not kosher, taref. A non-Jew slaughters an animal even if he's the most righteous non-Jew on planet Earth. The animal is not kosher. These people are missionaries, and you give them kashrut, you give them the shchita, you give them the overseeing, the kashrut of the community. This guy lets them write a Sefer Torah. Here's a picture over here. They're writing a Sefer Torah, Ribono shel Olam. There's no greater desecration to our Torah than to have these filthy idol-worshipping hands writing a Sefer Torah. That's where you have a picture of it. It's not like a rumor. It's a picture. They're writing a Sefer Torah. Half the community has their mezuzot. Half the community has different types of scrolls from these idol worshippers. All of it is pasul. You cannot use a mezuzah from them. You cannot use a Torah from them. All of it you have to burn. You can't even bury it. It's not even worthy to bury such things like gnizah. If you have a Sefer Torah or you have a holy book that is not usable anymore, you bury it like you bury a body. But something like this, burn. That's how bad it is. Why? Because they're writing it with the mind of their yoshke, their idol. It becomes a kli, a vessel of idol worship. People know, maybe they're this, maybe they're really Jewish. Here's the cemetery of their parents. Here's the article of their marriage in a Lutheran church. There's no conversion paperwork. It doesn't exist. They never converted. But this Michael Aminov not only knowingly makes them part of his kehillah, he gives them a smicha, a rabbinical smicha. He gives them the kashrut smicha. They have jobs with the kashrut. They have involvement with chuppah and kiddushin. They write a Sefer Torah. They write mezuzot. The entire community is literally burning right now from the tum'ah of these two idiots, these filthy people. Why? Because of this Michael Aminov. I blame him, and anyone that knows the issue knows it's his fault more than they do. They're just doing the job. If a shark swims and you're in the way and he's hungry, don't be angry at the shark. That's what sharks do. They eat. You happen to be in their way, they're going to eat you. Missionaries missionize. You can't even be angry at them. That's what they do. They're spiritual predators. But to have a so-called Orthodox rabbi that has pictures with every big rabbi on planet Earth over the last 30 years. He somehow, some way, got a picture next to everybody. I'm not really sure if it's real or it's Adobe. Either way, even if he took pictures with all the greatest rabbis in the world, it means zero. Why? Esav didn't take pictures. His father was the Gdol Ador. His grandfather was Avraham Avinu, the bigger even. His brother was Yaakov, his father was Yitzchak, his grandfather was Avraham. And it still says in the prophets, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Et Esav saneti. Esav, I hate him. Esav, I hate him. Why? He knew the truth, he still didn't follow. He knew the truth, he still didn't follow. It doesn't make a difference if you took pictures with rabbis. It doesn't mean you're righteous. It doesn't mean anything. But this guy puts on a show. What does he say? Look, I got a letter from big rabbis. So he takes a very big rabbi's letter that he wrote, and he makes a big deal out of it. In reality, anyone that speaks a word of English, anyone that deals with Chachamim knows that this 5 words that he got is not I agree with everything that you're doing, Chazaku Baruch. No, it's simply a simple common message that one Chacham gives somebody else, anybody else, when he gives them a book. You give him your book, here you go, you write on a personal note. Oh, what's your name? Steve. Okay, Steve, may Hashem bless you, Chazaku Baruch, da. Oh, you're Rabbi? Oh, Rabbi so-and-so, Chazaku Baruch. And he makes it like these big rabbis wrote him letters. Eze letters, eze na'alayim. Nothing they wrote him. Babkis they wrote him. Anyone that knows his work wrote against him. Eze for him. But he shows everybody, no, but I got a smicha, and I got this. I got a smicha from Rabbi Ben Chaim. We have a letter in our possession from Rabbi Eliyahu Ben Chaim, one of the Gedolim in America, who says, I'm here to announce to you that according to me, in every place, the Teudah that I gave, Michael Aminov, is null and void. It's not valid. The smicha is not valid. I remove it. I didn't know he's a Rasha. Is Michael Aminov going to show this to his keilah? No, he's going to show all the mumbo-jumbo pictures to his keilah. He's going to show all the mumbo-jumbo to people that don't know better. We have letters from one of the Gedolim in Israel, one of the Gedolim in the world, Arav Lau, the Rishon LeZion, says, according to our records, which is not just records of all the people who are good, but rather letters, documents, and so on, Michael Aminov is not allowed to convert people. Wait a minute, he's not allowed to convert people. Michael Aminov is charging anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, I heard today. $50,000 to convert people. Without any shame. Proud of it. $50,000 to charge to convert people. I don't know how many fools fell for that trap. I'm sure there's a few. But nonetheless, the fact that he even converted a single person, when we have letters that the organization God, Benenu God, and that we have everywhere here, says he's not allowed to convert anybody. He himself needs to convert, if anything. He himself needs to convert. Go back and do tshuva. He's converting people. We have letters that he is apologizing. He's apologizing for all of the misdeeds that he has been caught for in the past, and he agrees and promises to no longer convert. Did he keep the promise? Of course he didn't keep the promise. Of course he didn't keep the promise. Why? Because now he has two missionaries in his keilah that he made them between him and those two. They're the beddin. In so many words, 3 Christian missionaries are a beddin of doing the conversions over there in Phoenix, Arizona. HaShem Yishmor V'Yatzil. All of the people that converted to him are not Jewish. Doesn't matter if they keep mitzvot or they don't keep mitzvot. They're not considered Jewish. No posek in the world will ever say that they're Jewish. Why? You have a Christian on the beddin, they're not Jewish. You have somebody like Aminov on the beddin, not Jewish. Yeah, but I tried, I didn't mean to, and I paid. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. Rabotai Yekrim, the amount of damage that this Aminov has caused the entire community of not just Phoenix, Arizona, but the entire Bukharian community, the entire Jewish community. This literally reaches Israel. This reaches New York. This reaches Arizona. This reaches Florida. This has reached literally multiple places of victims from this person, this filthy, disgusting person that only he cares about is himself and his pocket. That's all he cares about. Doesn't care about Hashem, doesn't care about his community, and now what he's trying to do is, in essence, show people the pictures that he has with rabbis and a few certificates that nobody knows how to read. Say, oh, look, see, these big rabbis like me. Habibi, having pictures doesn't mean anything in the Torah world. Having pictures doesn't mean anything if those pictures don't come along with actions, especially when the big rabbis have written letters against you. Rabbis have been writing letters against this clown for a long time, Rabotai Karim. Even his own community Even his own community wrote a letter saying that it's been a long-standing policy of Orthodox Rabbinical Council, unanimously approved by all, that all local Orthodox rabbis will not perform any conversions here in Phoenix, Arizona, and not to accept those conversions that are performed here. And it's come to our attention that Orthodox conversions have recently been performed locally based on standards that are not in accordance with policies of the chief rabbinate of Israel. These conversion ceremonies are in violation of the aforementioned policy and are not halachically valid. Therefore, these converts will not be accepted as Jews here or in Israel. Individuals seeking an Orthodox conversion are strongly advised to undergo a conversion process that will be considered valid and legitimate both here and in Phoenix and by Torah authorities worldwide. This, Rabotai, is the letters he's not showing his community. This is not. This is a letter from Aminov writing to the rabbis in Israel saying, I'm sorry. Writes to Rabbi Ben Chaim, actually, and here in New York. Giurim shena'asu b'Arizona hayu ta'ut. The converts that I made here in Arizona was by mistake. He mistakenly made converts. Mistake, by mistake. He had converts. Mistake. Everything is a mistake. Cashing the checks wasn't a mistake. Ruining people's lives, not a mistake. Causing a poor woman to have a miscarriage when she finds out that she's a victim of this piece of garbage, it's not a mistake. But what is he going to tell you? No, I meant well. What about you have missionaries in your bedin? You have missionaries in your keilah. On Rosh Hashanah, the missionary blew the shofar, which means that not a single member of your keilah fulfilled his obligation of listening to the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. Why? Because an idol worshiper blew the shofar. A non-Jew, idol worshiper, blew the shofar in your keilah. Everything we know. And people think, oh, you're just saying things. How do I know these things? What do I have these papers for? What, I have a hobby of making stuff up? Rabotai Karim, how does such a disaster happen? Where you have a person that's so focused on money, he ignores letters that forbid him from converting anybody. Forbid him from converting anybody. Here you have a letter, Eliyahu Abirgen. This is a letter that was like written, like something that you put on a book. Like, I like thank you, enjoy the book. To my friend, nothing, I approve of all your work, or you're a big scholar, but he made this, oh look at the letter that he wrote me. No, this is a letter that he writes to anybody that takes his book or anything like that. Why? Because the real letter that the Rav actually wrote is Lo esmachti velo V'lo ishbati et harav. I did not give a smicha. I did not take any vow from this Rabbi Aminov. That's the real letter that he's not telling people. Rabotai Karim, the tragedy is enormous. Enormous. Why? You have an entire community of people that got married by either Christians or by someone that does not have Yirat Shamayim, which surely means there's been other things that are wrong. People that converted, that right now, before they heard this, think they're Jewish. And if they haven't heard this, they still think they're Jewish. And they're not Jewish. And they're going to grow up. If they don't learn this, they're going to grow up thinking that they're Jewish. And they're not Jewish. And they think their kids are Jewish. They're not Jewish. And they're going to want to marry Jewish. And if those people don't know, they will marry other people thinking that they're Jewish. And you'll have an entire disaster have to come to the world in order to eliminate it. Why? Because in a place where there's chilul Hashem, where there's desecration of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in secret, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to expose it in public. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to expose it in public. And this is one of those situations where not believing, not agreeing, is not going to be a choice many people can make. Simply because the ramifications of such a choice are too great. It's the validity of a conversion, the validity of a marriage, the validity of a brit milah, the validity of 1.5 million different things that these idol worshippers were involved in. That this idol worshipper, Aminov, is involved in. He's an idol worshipper to money. They were idol worshipper to a person. It was a perfect relationship. They have belief that some guy is going to come save them if they murder spiritually a bunch of Jews, but they think that they're helping those Jews. And he thinks the money will save him, as he murders spiritually whoever is in his way. You see, Rabotai Karim, the ramifications of what happened over there are being highlighted because they're enormous. The media is not covering the full report. The media is so far only focusing on the 2 Christian missionaries because that's the story, that's the scoop. Reality is the bigger criminal is the rabbi. The rabbi is the bigger criminal because he is the one that actually allowed all of this to happen knowingly. It's not unknowingly. He knows he did it. When he was asked, do you know you have Christians in your kila? What do you have to say about this? Oh, they meant well. They meant well. They look like they have a pure heart. Yeah, but they're Christians. His response is, in the United States of America, all religions are the same. This guy, I would be surprised if he even believes in God. I would be surprised if he believes in God. He has idolized money so much, I would be surprised if he believes if there's any room for God. Maybe he thinks that the statement on the US dollar, in God we trust, that's who they mean by God. But don't worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu closes all doors and all bills have to get paid at some point. All bills have to get paid at some point. And some people say, yeah, but listen, this guy can just go somewhere else and start somewhere else, fool other people. Don't worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do what he has to do in order to make sure that everybody that has to pay will pay. There were many people that thought that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not watching. And they started teaching things that are against the Torah. They started telling people that there is no Gehenom. They started telling people that the Torah is not forever. So, in the Sefer, A Divine Madness by Rav Victor Miller, he writes, in the name of the Mashgiach Mir Yeshiva, Rabbi Yaron Reuven, that when people no longer believed in Gehenom, Hashem had to bring Gehenom to this world. We know it as the Holocaust. When people did not want to believe in Gehenom anymore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to bring it to this world. It's people like Aminov that brings a Holocaust. Why? Because they literally murder us spiritually to such an extent that only a wake-up call like that wakes up certain people. Unless they wake up to the real news now and realize they have to do something about it. Now,
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה. שבכל אשר יפנו ישכילו ויצליחו. יזכו עוד לעשות כאלה וכאלה. הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה. איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
מיאמי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
אני